Since we are running a little ahead of time, what we thought is if there are questions to the two keynote speakers, we would like to take it now.
I'm Rashmi Bandari from Sayadri College of Engineering in Bangalore. My question to you is, Mr. Mueller, you spoke about passion. Now we see a lot of passion, but then is there a way that we can actually measure it? And how do you increase it in an organization?
Okay. The passion I spoke about is defined in three ways. One is the passion to perform. Passion to perform for me is, are we willing to become number one in India as a country? Is everybody believing that things are possible? And we see, as we have a very huge IPN, International Production Network, all over the world with Bosch, with more than 150 plants. I can see the hunger to be number one in other countries more. And this is something I want to bring in, that the willingness to perform, the belief that we become number one. And I have the deep trust that this country and these factories in India can become number one. That's one. So are we willing, are we passionate enough to get there? Does it come from alone? No, it does not come from alone. In the we pillar I spoke about, there's a leadership. So it's about positive leadership. So we try to bring in an attitude and behavior from the full leadership team that we as leaders energize the people. We try to coach, we lead by content whenever we interact on the shop to let them grow, And there's some approaches to this, so that, maybe you have heard about Toyota Kata and asking the right question to bring the people up. This is the way we do. Tactflorism is an underlying pattern, and then we always go around this and asking questions and trying to let the people grow. And I'm convinced if we go this way, we are open. We are talking openly about failures. Failure culture is the second dimension of this, and we create this kind of psychological safety in a very hierarchy-driven kind of organization where we are. And I find many organizations here in this country are like this. Then we can create the passion which is required to really go beyond. Otherwise, it's not possible. So we have many aspects in the strategy going in this, and we measure this. So we measure surveys on positive leadership. We are a certified GPTW company, so you get feedback from this also. If you look into camaraderie and some of the aspects of GPTW, you can also see if the passionate part of it is really developing in the sites or not. And if not, we have to take action. We talk to the plants to create this kind of passion. And it starts with, the openness and willingness of the people. The rest from the passion we can bring, competence development, digital development, but it starts with the openness and willingness of the people to change.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. That was quite elaborate and quite detailed. Any further questions?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mueller. This is Varun here from TCS. Yeah. So the topic you have taken regarding the innovations, which is done within Bosch, like there are different processes, technology innovations, then analytics, and then everything about whatever is implemented in Bosch. How these technologies are, is there any consortium which Bosch has created within India where you share these processes, these technologies with other peers in the industry, and how it is implemented across different peers of yours?
Yeah, if it comes, thanks for the question. It's also the passion. It's one of the pillars. Technology is a quite structured and steered process. Technology. What we do is we look also into the beyond of products coming. I mean, the colleague spoke about EVs. He spoke about, and we have also H2. And all these products which will come, we analyze very structured on what kind of technologies, what kind of process chains will be there. Of course, we develop this also in our simultaneous engineering centers in Europe, but very early we look into this. We mirror this and the gaps of technology, what we are having. We develop our people also into this direction. So there are center of competencies worldwide, 16 on defined technology fields. Within these fields, there are many technologies which we are driving. And there is, in each of these COCs, our target is to have one Indian member in. And this, out of 5 levels, to become a member, you have to reach level number 4, and we have to develop our people towards this. And these guys who are in these global COCs, they have to take up development projects on a global scale. So from India, they drive manufacturing technology development in lines for fuel cells already, which might have SOP in Germany. So they are embedded. And they have also the task, these heads, in India to drive within the 816 plants we have on the same technology, a technology network, so that our technical functions in the plants can participate of the latest knowledge of these technologies so that we can develop our basic skills in all the plants. So this is how we drive technology, and the same approach we are using for digital. So we have working groups around MES systems, we have working groups around a platform, we have working groups around artificial intelligence, specifically on visual inspections on a global scale, and we scale this down from a global network to an India network, and this is driven by a department which is directly reporting to me. But the specialists are sitting decentralized in the plants. We are only orchestrating. I hope this answered your question a little.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Miller. I have another questions for EV side. You have talked about like how you are using battery, and then I have a question regarding the battery itself, like the life cycle of battery, like creating, like manufacturing battery, and then mainly disposal of the battery. It's like not environmental friendly. So when you are talking about bringing environment friendly EV, how you are managing the disposal of battery and how you are taking care of environmental factor for that?
Yeah. My observation on, I think there were two parts to that question. One is around the life cycle of the batteries itself and how long it would last. And then the second one was about maybe about recycling and also about second life. So what I will say is that, not all, especially if you're looking at, lithium-ion cells, they're not all created equally. There are definitely cells that have a much longer they can you can utilize it for many more cycles. And with regard to second life, I think that is going to be an industry on its own. We do need a methodology by which we can either reuse the batteries or dispose of them safely. And I think my impression is that the industry is already responding to that, and I think I feel like governments around the world are also putting that onus on cell manufacturers to figure that piece out, which is what do you do for second life. One very popular use case for second life is, of course, using it in a stationary use case rather than for a mobility use case. But I'm sure there are going to be many others that come out of it as well.
Good afternoon, Miller.
Hey.
This is Joshua.
May I ask a question, please? This is regarding, you are having 60 units in India. Now, how much of local talent, especially like, for example, I do thermography. My services are not being used as a local thermographer because I managed to connect with labor and get inputs from them about the equipment and the way certain practices are done at a level which, it's astounding. So I found a particular issue with one of the, after that, the chief engineer got angry because I found an issue which was going 3 steps away from the actual annual maintenance contract. And after that, finding big issues with the local manufacturing units for multinational companies, not necessarily Bosch, but even multinational companies, has become sort of a friction point. So how do we get over the local friction points so that our skills are used to substantial benefit of the organization?
So I did miss the first part of that. If you can come.
Yes. I do thermography. I found certain issues which were affecting the finish quality, where quality control was rejecting a lot of the components.
Yeah.
There was maybe 20 microns variation in the finished automotive component.
Yeah.
And I found the reason for it. It was there in the manufacturing line. And because of that, when finding a major issue, 20 microns is a big error in automotive industry.
Yeah.
So the friction point stopped me from getting additional work and improving the facilities much better for rest of the units. How do you avoid this?
I'm not sure if I got your point. First of all, I mean, you're talking about deviations in microns. So normally this kind of precision comes out of processes, right? Out of processes. So I don't know where is it related to people. Of course, people control the processes as well. I mean, you can automize a lot of this, so what we are doing also, but the demographic problem, what you are talking about, I have not understood.
Shall we take it offline, please?
Yeah, we can take it later. We meet there for
Thank
a coffee.
you. Thank you for your question. There's one more question on the.
Good afternoon, Muller.
Yes.
Muller, in your value chain platform, you did mention about having a in-house Bosch MES system. Is that a bottleneck that you see in the platform construct? Why not a plug and play for Aprizo or Traxxas kind of a thing? Number one. Number two, a follow-up is you told Bosch itself is a decade-old factories in many things. So a lot of your customers would also have legacy MES systems. So what is their willingness to change to Bosch MES?
So MES system bottleneck, you mean with regards to performance or rollout? I cannot see because we have quite a powerful in-house company developing these MES systems. What we have to change is, this is the next generation of what we call the Bosch Manufacturing and Logistics Platform, which is MES and Intralogistics Execution System, is that we have to standardize the modules. We started somewhere and then each of these MES systems, if you look deeper into it, it's not identical. So you cannot upgrade as a container and so on. And so we have to take care much more about IT infrastructure, standardized in the plants, as well as on standardized modules so that MES updating can come much faster. Bottleneck in rollout is somewhat linked to competencies of people who have the knowledge, specifically here on the MES, because you have to install it and ramp it up. See, we started with 20% MES connectivity in 2019 when I came. We will be at 70 to 80% by end of next year. So this is quite fast, I would say, for the major plants. So I don't see a bottleneck here. Second question was compared to our customers, MES. I did not get the point here because I think today we do not connect on a MES system level. Yeah, what we do is on the EDI level we connect, so we try to capture signals from the customer here. We need to go beyond here. So where this signal comes from ERP or MES systems from the customers, we need to define standardized interfaces here if we really want together with the customers end-to-end optimize our supply chains, which I feel is very much required. And it will be of benefit for both of the parties. We can save a lot of money here if we know whatever is consumed at the customer end in real time and getting back this data to us to produce on demand, which is not the case today. So, but I don't know if I get the second point right, what your problem statement was there.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. In the interest of time, can we hold the question till the end? We'll come back for some more questions. I want to thank Mr. Carlson Mueller and Mr. Shreyas Shibilal for an enlightening session, and thank you. We might invite you towards the end again for if there are some more Q&A. Thank you.